The challenge from the stars. The message arrived on a Tuesday. Admiral Helena Chen stood in the central command hub of Earth's orbital defense network, watching as the alien transmission was decoded. After 3 centuries of isolation and peace, humanity had grown comfortable in their solar system, expanding throughout the planets and moons, building a civilization that would have seemed like magic to their ancestors. Message decryption complete, announced the AI. Displaying now. The holographic display flickered to life, revealing a creature that resembled a cross between a mantis and a reptile. Its exoskeleton gleamed with what appeared to be ceremonial armor, and 4 compound eyes blinked in unsettling synchronization. People of Earth, the translator rendered in perfect English. I am High Commander Vextar of the Phyrexian Dominion. The Treaty of Non-Interference signed by your ancestors has expired. The 300 years of grace we generously provided have ended. Submit to Phyrexian authority within 1 planetary rotation, or face immediate extinction. The command center fell silent. 300 years ago, humanity had encountered the Phyrexians, an expansionist species that claimed dominion over 12 star systems. Rather than fight, Earth's leaders had negotiated a treaty. The aliens would leave humanity alone for 3 centuries, and humans would remain confined to their solar system. No one in the command center appeared alarmed. Admiral Chen actually smiled. Prepare a response, she said calmly. What shall we tell them? Admiral, asked her communications officer. The truth, Chen replied. That they have made a terrible miscalculation. When the response was sent, it wasn't what the Phyrexians expected. There was no panic, no begging, no immediate surrender. Instead, Admiral Chen appeared on the screen, her expression almost amused. High Commander Vextar, on behalf of the United Solar Federation, I acknowledge your message. I must ask, what exactly do you think we've been doing for 300 years? The Phyrexian commander's mandibles clicked in what the human xenopsychologists recognized as confusion. You have stayed within your solar system as agreed, Vextar replied. Now you will serve the Dominion. Chen laughed. Actually laughed. That treaty wasn't to protect us from you. It was to give us time to prepare and to protect you from us. We accepted those terms because 300 years ago, we were still young, still finding our way. We needed time. Insolence, hissed Vextar. Our fleet numbers 10,000 warships. Our soldiers number in the billions. You have 1 system, 1 species. Let me explain something about humans, Chen said, settling into her chair. We thrive under pressure. When faced with a deadline, we innovate. When threatened with extinction, we become something else entirely. 300 years ago, we knew you would return. So we prepared. The Phyrexian commander's posture shifted subtly. Uncertainty. Prepared how? I suppose it's easier to show you, Chen replied. Your long-range sensors have no doubt detected our orbital platforms, our moon base, our Mars colonies. What they haven't detected is everything else. At her command, a signal was sent throughout the solar system. From the asteroid belt, from the moons of Jupiter and Saturn, from the shadows of Neptune, and from the scattered objects of the Kuiper belt, stealth fields disengage. What had appeared to be barren rocks and empty space suddenly revealed the truth. Ships. Thousands upon thousands of ships. Massive carriers, sleek destroyers, and swarms of smaller craft that numbered in the millions. A defense network spanning the entire solar system, hidden in plain sight for centuries. On the communication screen, Vextar went completely still. Impossible, the alien commander whispered. No species could build such a fleet in mere centuries. That's your first misconception, Chen replied. You measure time by your standards. 300 of our years is 15 generations. 15 generations of engineers, scientists, and builders who knew exactly what was coming, who worked with singular purpose. Even so, Vextar's voice had lost its imperious tone. No single system has the resources for such construction. That's your second misconception, Chen continued. You think we're limited by conventional resource gathering. We developed matter conversion technology 200 years ago. We can create any element from energy, and we have fusion reactors throughout the system. Resources aren't an issue. The Vrexian commander was silent for several moments, processing this revelation. You bluff. No species has mastered matter conversion. Then scan our Jupiter stations, Chen suggested. The energy signatures should be unmistakable. As the Vrexian ships conducted their scans, something else happened. Throughout Earth's solar system, a previously invisible network activated. Millions of quantum nodes connecting into a vast web that encompassed everything from Mercury to the Oort cloud. What is this? Demanded Vextar as his sensors detected the energy surge. Our defense grid, Chen explained. It's been here the whole time, just inactive. It's a quantum entanglement network that allows instantaneous communication and coordination across the entire system. It also serves as a targeting system. To demonstrate, a single human destroyer positioned near Mars locked onto a small asteroid. A beam of concentrated energy shot forth, and the asteroid didn't just explode. It disintegrated at the molecular level, turned to constituent atoms in milliseconds. That was 5% power, Chen noted. Would you like to see what our capital ships can do at full capacity? The Vrexian command ship suddenly backed away, a prudent decision. This changes nothing, Vextar declared, though his voice lacked conviction. The Dominion spans 12 systems. We can bring reinforcements. About that, Chen said, you might want to check on your home systems. With visible reluctance, Vextar accessed his long-range communications. The look of shock that spread across his alien features told the story before he spoke. How are there human ships in Vrexian space? We developed FTL travel 250 years ago, Chen replied. While respecting the letter of our treaty to remain confined to this solar system, we sent unmanned probes and later autonomous vessels throughout this region of the galaxy. We've mapped every system within 500 light-years, including all 12 of yours. Those ships you're detecting aren't invasion forces, just observation posts that we decloaked to make a point. The command center fell silent as Vextar processed this information. When he finally spoke, his tone had changed entirely. What do you want, humans? Admiral Chen leaned forward. For starters, a new treaty. One based on mutual respect rather than intimidation. Beyond that, we have a proposition. But first, you need to understand what humanity has become and why we stayed hidden for so long. Guardians of the Galaxy. The Vrexian High Command gathered in emergency session on their capital world. The holographic display showed the human solar system and the previously hidden fleet that dwarfed their invasion force. High Commander Vextar stood before his peers, his exoskeleton dulled with stress. The humans have deceived us, he began. What we believed was a primitive, isolated species has built a military and technological capacity that rivals or exceeds our own. Impossible, snarled War Director Kazvek. No species advances so quickly. They must have had outside help. Our intelligence suggests otherwise, Vextar replied. They did it themselves, driven by the knowledge that we would return one day. Their advancement appears to be exponential, each breakthrough accelerating the next. What are our options? Asked the Sovereign Empress, her massive form dominating the chamber. We could withdraw and marshal our full forces, suggested Kazbek. 12 systems against one. Even with their technology, they cannot stand against our numbers. A new voice entered the conversation. Admiral Chen, appearing as a hologram in the center of the Vrexian command chamber. Pardon the intrusion, she said, but your encryption is rather primitive by our standards. To address War Director Kazvek's suggestion, we've run simulations of that scenario. Even if you commit your entire military, the casualties on your side would be approximately 97% before our defenses could be overwhelmed. The Vrexian leadership recoiled in shock, both at the intrusion and the claim. You dare spy on our most secure council, hissed the Empress. We prefer to call it maintaining situational awareness, Chen replied. And we're not just observing your council. We're monitoring all potential threats in this region of the galaxy. That's actually why I've interrupted. To make you an offer. With a gesture, Chen expanded the holographic display to show not just the solar system and Phyrexian territory, but a three-dimensional map of over 2,000 stars. 300 years ago, we weren't just afraid of you, Chen explained. Our deep space probes had detected something far more concerning on the edge of this galactic sector. Something ancient and patient, watching and waiting. We call them the Harvesters. The display shifted to show a massive biomechanical structure the size of a small moon. We've been tracking them for centuries, Chen continued. They move slowly, methodically, stripping entire systems of resources and leaving nothing behind. They've consumed 14 civilizations that we know of, none as advanced as either humans or Phyrexians. But they're coming this way. The Empress's compound eyes narrowed. If such a threat exists, why reveal this information to us now? Why not let us remain ignorant and vulnerable? Because despite our differences, we believe in preserving life, Chen replied. All life. And because facing the Harvesters will require more than just humanity's resources, it will require a coalition of species working together. How convenient, sneered Kazbek. You fabricate a greater threat to force cooperation. The evidence is available for your review, Chen said calmly. We've compiled 3 centuries of observations, but more convincingly, why else would we have remained in our solar system for 300 years, despite having FTL capability? Why build defenses that could easily have been used for conquest? The chamber fell silent as the logic sank in. Our proposal is simple, Chen continued. A genuine alliance. We share our technological advancements, matter conversion, quantum communication, phase shift propulsion, and in return, we gain access to your established interstellar infrastructure and diplomatic connections to other species. And what of our sovereignty? Asked the Empress. Maintained completely, Chen assured her. We have no interest in ruling the Phyrexian dominion or any other civilization. Our goal is preservation, not domination. The Phyrexian leadership conferred privately, their translator systems disabled. After what seemed like an eternity, the Empress turned back to Chen's hologram. We require proof of these harvesters and demonstrations of the technologies you claim to possess. Agreed, Chen replied. We'll transmit the coordinates of our nearest observation outpost monitoring the harvester fleet. Send your scientists. As for technology demonstrations, we invite a delegation to Jupiter Station Alpha. There, you'll witness matter conversion firsthand. 3 days later, the Phyrexian scientific delegation returned from the observation post, their data crystals full and their worldview shattered. The harvesters were real, a relentless, hive-minded force of destruction moving inexorably toward inhabited space. When the Phyrexian leadership reconvened, the atmosphere had changed entirely. The humans speak the truth, announced Chief Scientist Meckler. The threat approaches. By our calculations, it will reach the outer Phyrexian colonies within 70 years. And their technology? Asked the Empress. Beyond anything we've conceived, Meckler admitted. They've harnessed quantum mechanics in ways our theories hadn't even postulated. Their matter-convergent technology alone could revolutionize our civilization. The Empress turned to Vextar. Prepare the treaty documents. We will accept the human alliance. 1 month later, Admiral Helena Chen stood on the observation deck of Titan Base, watching as the first joint human-Phyrexian research vessel prepared for launch. Beside her stood Vextar, now serving as ambassador to Earth. Your people adapted quickly to the revelation, Chen noted. Necessity is a powerful motivator, Vextar replied. Though I still find it difficult to comprehend how humans advance so rapidly while confined to one system. Chen smiled. Constraints breed innovation. By forcing us to maximize what we had, rather than expand outward, we turned inward. We perfected technologies that might have taken millennia to develop if we'd been busy conquering stars. A peculiar advantage of your imprisonment, Vextar acknowledged. Not imprisonment, Chen corrected. Incubation. Earth wasn't our prison. It was our crucible. And now, we're ready to share what we've learned. As the joint vessel disappeared into a shimmer of distorted spacetime, Chen considered the irony. The Vrexians had intended to return and find a submissive, technologically stagnant humanity. Instead, they had discovered not enemies, but reluctant guardians, a species that had transformed isolation into unprecedented advancement. You know, she said, watching the stars, your ancestors might have done us the greatest favor possible when they forced that treaty on us. How so? Asked Vextar. They gave us something every civilization needs but few ever receive. A clear deadline, a common purpose, and 300 years to prepare for it. Together, they watched as a fleet of ships, human and Vrexian, began assembling in Saturn's orbit, the first of many that would stand against the coming darkness. Not as conquerors or subjects, but as allies in a universe far more dangerous and wondrous than either had imagined.